I'm Megan Freeman. I have been a psychotherapist and am a marriage and family counselor for over 30 years, in active practice for that long. I taught transpersonal psychology at JFK University. I was co-director of the Counseling Center, and I basically have been studying in the last few years to combine healing modalities. I've been studying a lot of shamanism, energy work, and I'm also a Reiki master.
Do you think marijuana should be legalized in our country?
I think it should be. It's legalized now in Washington, and I was just up with my son and daughter-in-law, and was getting their impression of what it was like to have it legalized. And the idea is that it basically brings it out of the society of anti-society group. And so, anyone now that wants to have marijuana can, because you can always get, at least in most states you can, certainly here you can. So the idea of it takes it out of the drug scene, almost, black market, it makes it into, so that's the argument for marijuana, and the dosage would be regulated, and that also is good. The difficulty would be that it may become more mainstream, and people that might not otherwise have access to it might.
Why do you think it hasn't been legalized?
I think the reasons it hasn't been legalized are part of what's wrong with our society. That the more conservative kind of power people, I think it actually is a way of sort of keeping people oppressed. Largely that there is that kind of the fundamentalist religious aspect that's a part of society, and I think that's an aspect of why it hasn't been legalized.
And do you think that if it is legalized, that there should be limits as to if you drive or if you are at work or?
Yes, I do. I think that's a really good question. So I think with the idea of legalizing it, then you actually have kind of the control that you do with alcohol, and the same kind of laws. So people might get in actually less trouble. I would certainly think that. I think the one thing that might be difficult is that I don't know if there are good tests that they can use if somebody's picked up to know if there actually is marijuana in their body. But I'm not sure, there might be.
What do you think it would do to our society if we legalized marijuana?
That's also a really good question, and I actually, unfortunately, haven't thought about it that much. But I really could see that it actually could actually tend to basically not have us lose our edge as far as productivity. It's possible that more, it's while on the one hand, I don't know, because on the one hand we are such a hyper society, and so we're overly motivated. So it's possible it could actually help to have a little bit more relaxation of people. But the danger is that people would also kind of lose a competitive edge and lose a motivation. Well, just one thing I was thinking about with the questions that you just asked is in looking at the benefits versus the problems. The people, largely the misuse is already happening. But the misuse is that it also does seem to have an effect on motivation. And so people can get into more of a stone place in the moment, and they kind of lose track of basically things that need to be handled in the real world. And it's an escape, from real world responsibilities. And those things are already happening. And people that are kind of wanting that escape are largely already using it. But that's largely one of the dangers. It also has medical effects, like with reducing the stress in the body, like glaucoma, certain kind of stress things. And I think that the misuse is already happening.
Do you think the regulation should be by age or by medical need?
There already are regulations by medical needs, so I would think that legalizing it should still have probably the same kind of legal. It should be like alcohol, is what I would think, as far as legalizing.
So do you think age 21 is appropriate?
I would think so. I think it's better to not have it younger than that, because just that kind of that says when it's okay or not okay. So that might regulate someone.
Thank you for letting us interview you.
Thank you. It was just really fun. You really asked interesting questions. So I'm so glad I could think about these things. Thank you so much.